Today we're reviewing Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. Yes, Bridget Jones, Renee Zellweger is back for the fourth Bridget Jones movie. I have watched all of the movies recently, and now this is the, fourth new entry of this franchise. Of course, starring Renee Zellweger, who plays Bridget. We get Sheetwell Ejiofor in this movie as well, who's playing Scott. Leo Woodall is playing Rockstar. And of course, we get Hugh Grant and Colin Firth reprising their roles from the previous movies. Bridget now is actually a mum. And, these movies are good in that sense, in terms of from the beginning, she was in her 20s, 30s, 40s, and now I guess she's in her 50s. And now she's a mum, she's got responsibilities. She's also a widow based on the, the storyline. And, all of these ain't spoilers, all in the trailer. But, it's a good progressional story of, a woman in Britain and having love difficulties and all of that. I will say that in terms of the love aspect of this movie, all the Bridget Jones movies, they do center around her relationships and all of that, and her decisions in life and that kind of stuff. And this movie is basically that. She's basically a widow in this movie and wondering if it's appropriate for her to go back on the market, so to speak, and meet other men. Now, I will say these movies are definitely not my target audience, I will say, and there's been a lot of hours watched now of Bridget Jones that, to be honest, I all think they're around the same, rating and score that I've given this movie. Rating the movie, though, I actually gave it a 2.5 star. As I say, I'm not the target audience for this, but it's a pleasant film that does do a lot of good. Some of the jokes in the movie I think were okay, not too bad. There's definitely a lot of relation there. I guess if you're a middle-aged woman, in the UK, you would relate a lot to these films. They did leave the door open, though, to a potential fifth movie, which I would be down for, just to see a bit more. Maybe her kids now are 18, 19, going to uni, and how does she deal with that? The rejection of kids leaving and all that. So I think there's definitely scope there for stories to actually play out with this, and it's a very interesting concept ultimately. But that's my review of Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. Have you seen the movie? Let me know in the comments down below.